Reed Richards, you're a monster.
To start talking about the Maker, you kind of have to understand why he's even a thing in the first place. And the Maker actually only exists because sometime in the 2000s, Marvel was actually coming back from bankruptcy, so they wanted to make something that would make it easier for people to start jumping into comics and you know, making money. So they came out with the Ultimate series, which is like a big reboot with a lot of the same characters, but drastically different stories. So you could jump in. So you had a lot of the same lovable characters that were in Marvel for years prior, but these ones were really dark and grim, and they had really gritty stories. But a lot of it only happened in Earth 1610, and it stayed there until recently, where it's kind of gotten into Earth 616, and they've melded together and had storylines together. But originally, into the 2000s, when this all came out, it was specifically in Earth 1610, which, if you remember Earth 1610, it also gave us Miles Morales. Not everything was super dark and gritty. We got our boy from there. But who is the Maker? He is Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, and he was actually very curious and such from a young age, and he used to actually cannibalize a lot of the appliances in their house to make new inventions, and his father really didn't like that, but his father was also super abusive, so it was just kind of a reason to do that to Reed, unfortunately. And his classmates didn't really like him either, and they bullied him relentlessly until he became friends with the star quarterback, Ben Grimm. But Ben really only used him because he wanted to not have to do his homework, but he still protected him from the bullies in their schools. When Reed was 10 years old, he ended up creating a machine that would transport a toy car to an alternate universe, which this caught the eye of Lieutenant Lumpkin, and he ended up going to the Baxter Building. There at the Baxter Building, he met Franklin Storm, and you guessed that, that is Johnny and Sue's father. And he'd spent his entire life working on the Baxter Building to make a kind of think tank to just kind of get a lot of brilliant minds together. Reed was the new brilliant mind working there, and because his father didn't really like him anyway, he was very happy to get rid of him. At the Baxter Building, Reed met Franklin's greatest achievements, Johnny and Sue Storm, and he kind of became a little bit obsessed and in love with Sue over time. Even though he was pretty happy at the Baxter Building, he still ended up missing his family from time to time, and when he was missing them, he made the Fantastic Car. He never used the Fantastic Car. Evil. Already. You can tell. So it was the Fantastic Four without the Fantastic Car. Over the next few years, he worked on his teleportation device, and he met a fellow student named Victor Von Dam, which I will confuse for Victor Von Doom, but I'm gonna do my best to get the names correct. Victor was super arrogant, and he ended up helping himself to Reed's notes one day, and that was not cool. But they ended up realizing they were both super smart and worked on the project to find the end zone together. So years pass, and now Reed and Victor are adults, and they go to test out their project in Nevada. This is the parallel to when the Fantastic Four all get together in their spaceship and go to try to go on their mission. So Ben actually comes to come check out what Reed's up to, so he's there for, you know, the plot device of getting the thing. So Ben's there, Johnny's there, Sue's there, and Victor is there, and then Reed, obviously. But they go to activate their machine, and Victor had messed with the coordinates, so it ends up making all of them disappear. The Fantastic Four get their powers, and Victor is just gone. Victor, in the, you know, fallout from all of this, has actually made a commune in Denmark where he has put, like, Neuralinks in everybody's brain there, and he just controls them. Well, it's kind of like what, I can't remember his name, the boy from Eternals did. That kind of thing. His girlfriend's name's Makari. What is his name? Anyway, it's like what happened in Eternals, where they run the commune with the mind control. Unable to convince Victor to help reverse the effects of the damage he has caused, Reed ends up returning to his transporter, kind of retrofitting it for time travel. He ends up finding a different version of himself where he finds out that him and Sue have a child together, and he ends up becoming more obsessed with science for one, but with his love for Sue as well. When Reed does actually propose to Sue, Magneto ends up attacking New York, which puts Sue in a coma and kills her father. And when she comes out of the coma, he decides that it would be a good idea to propose to her at her father's funeral, and she obviously rejects him because that's awful. Ugh. Read the room. The Fantastic Four end up disbanding after that, and Reed ends up moving back in with his parents. So when does he actually become the Maker? Because so far he's just been a worse version of Reed Richards somehow. So when does he actually become the Maker. He does end up faking his own death. Unable to, come to terms with Sue's rejection and the attack that Magneto had, he ends up changing his worldview drastically. And it doesn't help that Kang comes in and pops in and is like, hey, the world's gonna end. So he kind of loses grasp on all of reality because of these factors. And so he fakes his death, blowing up his childhood home, killing his parents, and presumably Reed Richards is also dead, but he is not. After nearly killing Sue out of anger, he does face Johnny Storm and a bunch of heroes, and Johnny ends up disfiguring him out of anger for what he had done to Sue. And while the heroes were busy destroying his base, he was thrown out and left floating around the negative zone. And when he returns, he has gathered the Children of Tomorrow. Him and the Children of Tomorrow aim to build a more perfect world. And there's a lot going on here. He ends up facing every hero with a captain title, which is Captain Britain, Captain France, Captain Spain, a handful of them, and defeating most of them. And he also faces Thor, but he lets Thor go with Captain Britain to go tell the other heroes what's going on. Because are you really a supervillain if you're not gloating to all the other heroes about your plans and giving them details on it and all of that? Yeah. So Tony Stark was actually handed over to the Maker. And so when he gets his hands on Tony Stark, he decides that he's going to vivisect Tony because he's insane. He's absolutely insane. Reed Richards, you're a monster. But he ends up trying to vivisect Tony to give him a lobotomy. I'm not even gonna put comic references in here because it will get us demonetized. And he ends up damaging a part of Tony's brain that helps him talk when he wants to fight back, and he's only an AI tumor in Tony Stark's brain ends up telling people to fight back against the Maker, and that is the main reason that leads to his downfall. So ugh. It is wild and gross. Ugh. But we end up skipping to Secret Wars because there's still Secret Wars, a name that I'm sure you've heard in the cycle of never-ending shuffling of Marvel movies that are coming out. But Secret Wars, the Maker ends up making a kind of sort of life raft that attaches his universe to the main universe, so it ends up making them collide. Because he ends on Battle World, which is made by Victor Von Doom, which is the remnants of a lot of other universes that come together into Planet. And this is held together by 616 Victor Von Doom, not Victor Von Dam. Just so you know, Victor Van Dam, not the other one. So Doom is there, Mr. Fantastic is also there, and Doctor Strange is there, and then the Maker and Reed end up teaming up to try to stop Doom. The important part of this whole thing is that the Maker ends up betraying Reed, obviously, and then he is sliced up into little tiny pieces and spread out through all the realities to hopefully not come back together again. This character has been around for 20 years, so that's kind of the gist of what I'm going to give you, and I'm going to end that right there. But he is evil, and he makes 616 Reed Richards look like the best man ever, which is surprising. I am a notorious Reed Richards hater, and I also am of the firm belief that you're not fully supposed to like Reed Richards, so I know people have thinky thoughts about that, but that is my stance on that. I'm just gonna leave that there. But that is the Maker in a little bit of a quick rundown, and I hope you liked this, and if you like this, leave a comment down below telling me what your favorite Fantastic Four character is, or what your favorite alternate universe is in the Marvel Universe. I would love to hear it. If you like this and you want to see more like this, leave a like and comment and subscribe and hit that bell notification to know when we post more things, and I will see you guys later. Stay geeky. Bye.